Technician John CRISMAN, District Heights Station 26, reading Flat Stanley at the fire station. Stanley Lamb Chop lived with his mother, his father, and his little brother Arthur. Stanley was 4 feet tall, about a foot wide, and a half an inch thick. He had been flat ever since a bulletin board fell on him. Stanley's family found it handy having a flat boy at home, and Stanley didn't mind helping out. Stanley held tools for his father while Mr. Lamb Chop repaired the car. He helped Arthur practice his backflips. Stanley gave Mrs. Lamb Chop a perfect place to roll out pastry, except when he felt ticklish. It turned out that Stanley made an excellent stencil too. "Hold still," said Arthur. Stanley held his breath as Arthur traced him carefully. Children all over the city were entering a poster contest for Fire Safety Month. "I hope we win the trip to the fire station," said Arthur. "Me too," said Stanley. "I've always wanted to slide down the pole." The next Monday, a letter arrived. "Hey, guess what?" shouted Arthur. "Hay is for horses," Mrs. Lamb Chop said. "Try to remember that, dear." "Sorry," said Arthur. "Guess what? Our poster won the contest. We're going to the fire station on Saturday." Mrs. Lamb Chop clapped. "I know you boys had my talent for art," she said proudly. Stanley and Arthur practiced fire drills all week long. Arthur crawled around the house on his hands and knees. "Stop, drop, and roll," Stanley said. At last, Saturday came. The Lamb Chops drove to the fire station. "Welcome, beloved Chief Abbott." A puppy bounced at his feet. "Arf, arf, arf, arf." "Don't mind Spark," said the chief. "He's still in training." Chief Abbott led the Lamb Chops through the fire station kitchen. "We firefighters cook up some tasty meals," he said. Mr. Lamb Chop got out the camera. He took a picture of a pot of chili. Everyone went to the bunk room. "Very nice," said Mrs. Lamb Chop. "Can I see the fire engine?" said Arthur. "Of course," said the chief. He led everyone down to the garage. Stanley was disappointed. He had wanted to get there by the pole. Boots and trousers lay on the floor. "Oh my," said Mrs. Lamb Chop. "I could tidy up if you'd like." Chief Abbott laughed. "We leave these out so we can jump into them in an emergency," he said. "Neat," said Stanley. Chief Abbott pointed at a fire engine. "Climb on up if you'd like." "Wow," said Arthur. The boys scrambled to the fire engine. Spark was right behind them. Suddenly, the alarm bell rang. "Chief, Code 9 on Oak Street," called a firefighter. The chief turned to the Lamb Chops. "How would you like to ride along with us on a rescue?" "A rescue? Will it be safe?" asked Mrs. Lamb Chop. "You bet," Chief Abbott said. "Code 9 means a cat up a tree. Probably Furball again." Mr. Lamb Chop looked at his wife. She gave a little nod. "Yes," said Stanley and Arthur. Stanley turned on the siren. Arthur hit the lights. "My goodness, is that necessary?" asked Mrs. Lamb Chop. "No," said Chief Abbott. "It's just more fun this way." The fire engine raced through the city. Soon it pulled up to a tall tree, and a tiny cat shivered at the top. "She's pretty high up this time," said Chief Abbott. Spark panted at the chief's feet. "All right, let's go get her down." 2 firefighters raised the ladder. The Lamb Chops moved out of the way. Chief Abbott climbed until Furball was just a few feet away. "Good kitty," he said, stretching out his hands. "Come here, Furball." The cat got ready to leap into Chief's arms. Just then, Spark started to bark. "Arf, arf, 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 arf." For a second, Furball froze. Then she jumped the other way. "Furball!" cried Chief Abbott. He was too late. Furball was heading for the ground. The Lamb Chops looked up. Their mouths were open in surprise. All at once, Stanley threw himself in the grass. "Grab my hands," he told his mother. Mrs. Lambchop grabbed his hands. "Grab my feet," he told Arthur. But Arthur didn't move. "Hey," shouted Mrs. Lambchop at the top of her lungs, "grab his feet." Arthur blinked. He grabbed Stanley's feet. "Stretch!" cried Stanley. Arthur and Mrs. Lambchop stretched Stanley between them. They were not a second too soon. Boing! Meow! Furball bounced twice on Stanley's belly, then landed safely on the ground. The firefighters started clapping. Arthur and Mrs. Lambchop stood Stanley back up. "Great job, Stanley." Arthur looked at his mother. "Hay is for horses," he said. "Remember?" Mrs. Lambchop grinned. "Good work, Lambchops," Abbott said. "How can we ever thank you?" "Well," said Stanley, "there is one thing." He got the slide down the pole. Thank you for reading Flat Stanley with me. Y'all have a great day.